Okay, so I thought it'd be useful to share a few sanding techniques that I use quite regularly. This is by no means exhaustive, but it just gives you a good idea of how to get certain finishes effectively. So let's say you've just rough cut a bit of, say, acrylic tube here. You can obviously glue a bit of sandpaper to a bit of wood, which gives you a really flat working surface and stops it skidding around if you just hold the sandpaper down with your other hand. So it's really much more effective working like that. Now again, I'd recommend using things like wet and dry paper, where you just put a bit of water on the sandpaper, for working with plastics, as it really gives a much nicer finish. So you'd work it like that, then lightly dry it off to see how well it's coming along, and keep repeating it till you get the desired effect. So that's really putting the sandpaper static and working the piece onto it. The alternative would be if you have, say, a piece like this with a right angle joint, and you want to get that quite accurately sanded. So this is just an old offcut of acrylic, and I've glued a handle to it, again from another old piece of PVC, and I've folded the sandpaper round the sides to give a 90-degree angle, and that means I can get right in there and work into that corner there. So let's say that I've got a different example here where I'm wanting to sand this edge, but say on the other side of the 90-degree I'm wanting that not to get scuffed by the sandpaper. So what I've done is put a bit of insulation tape down the side, and that means that it's far less likely to scuff the nice clean visual face, but it means the sandpaper can still go to work on the other side. So I could work it like that and I should get a pretty good result. So again, really a lot of sort of sanding and finishing work is about just making your own tools, and often things like this, which are really simple, it's like a tongue depressor or a lollipop stick. You can actually glue either some coarse sandpaper on one side and some fine sandpaper on the other, and that means you could go to work on a rough finish and then get a much more delicate finish like that. Or alternatively, you can even just use a ruler and wrap the sandpaper around it, and again that means you can use it like so. You've probably seen sanding blocks where there's a bit of wood and you wrap the sandpaper around it. Now again, the nice thing about using blue foam is that you can actually make some unusual profiles, which means that they can be designed specifically for the job that you're doing. So you can really get some really good finishes. And the nice thing about the styrofoam being a little bit softer is that it allows you to work it into a surface which maybe isn't 100% flat, so it's a little bit more forgiving. But really, the general idea is to use things that suit the job and experiment with what works best. Thanks.